Hello everyone, welcome to Tinker Coding Classroom. I am your teacher Peter, and today I'm going to show you how you're going to create a game in the Makecode environment using your microbit. And the game is called Rock Paper Scissors. I'm sure you know Rock Paper Scissors. I mean, everyone has played Rock Paper Scissors at one point of their lives. So Rock Paper Scissors is also called Rochambeau. Rochambeau is a French word. You can actually take time to just research about it. I've written it how it's pronounced, but in French it's normally different. The spelling is different. Yeah, so you can actually refer to it as rock paper scissors or Rochambeau. So I did this project with some of my students in my class, and I was just able to show them how they were able how they could be able to create rock paper scissors. And so today I'm going to show you how you at home can guide your child, or you can also, if you're practicing programming, or if you're it's your first time learning programming, how you can create a very simple program using the Makecode environment. So I'll jump straight to the tutorial. So first of all, you have to understand how the game works. So basically, scissor beats paper, the paper beats the rock, and the rock beats the scissors. So it's basic. Two players usually take turn to toss their their hands, and if player one gets scissors and player two gets paper, then player one wins the game. So basically that's the flow of the game. So I'll not dwell so much on that, because I know you guys know how the game works. So straight to the algorithm. On how to we just need to understand how the program is going to work. So the game will have three random outcomes. It can either be scissors, paper, or rock. So you will allow your microbit to select a random number, that is 0, 1, and 2. Can be even 1, 2, or 3. So for this example, I've just used 0, 1, and 2. So 0 will represent scissors, 1 will represent paper, 2 will represent rock. So I'm going to create a variable, and I'm going to call it player 1 choice. And in this variable will enable me to store the random numbers 0, 1, and 2 when the microbit is on shake. So let me just jump into the program right away. So first of all, I'm just going to place this aside. So we're going to have shake as our input, because we want every time you shake the microbit for it to be able to give you an outcome. So shake is going to be one of the inputs that you're going to use on this program. So right away I'm going to create my variable, and I'm going to name it player 1 choice. Player 1 choice. So quickly, so once I create my variable, I'm going to set player 1 choice there, and I want it to select a random number. So I'm going to come to math, so I'm going to pick random number. So 0 to 2, because I want 3 outcomes, that is 0, 1, and 2. So once I do this, I come back to my algorithm, and this I've already done this. So once I'm done, I just cross it out. This is done. So there are 3 tests with 3 different outcomes. So number 1, if the random number, now notice the use of if condition. If you in the last video we actually covered on the if condition, so you can, if you're new here, you can just look at our last video on temperature sensor. Then I actually taught about the if condition, so you can actually learn more about the if condition in our last video. So in this program you're also going to use the if condition, and if the random number is 0, then the microbit shows A, which is scissors, and also broadcasts the number 0. And if the random number is 1, then the microbit shows B, which is paper, and broadcasts the number 1. And if the random number is 2, then the microbit shows C and also broadcasts the number 2, which is the rock. So straight away we come back to our program, and we're gonna use the if condition. So we're gonna come here to logic. So if, gonna come back here, and I'm gonna grab this, place it there. So if the player choice 1, so you come here, is equals to 0, then you want to display scissors. Instead of displaying 0, it's good, let's just display scissors. I love doing this so that I'm able to know what my program is doing. I don't know if this is the way we actually display scissors. I think this is the way. Okay, this is my scissors. So instead of using another if condition, I can just use else. So else if, so I'm gonna come here, and then let's see, you see, else if grab this, come to variables, is 1, I'm gonna show paper, I'm gonna show paper, let's start there. So this is, I'm going to show paper. Okay, it's done. So I'm remaining with one more, that is 2, and so I'm gonna click this one on the inner side, else, and then I want to show else if. So logic, I want to show I want to show 2. So if it's 2, then I want to show, sorry, rock. And rock, this is how I'm gonna display my rock. Sorry, yes, we finished. Oops. Okay, so I'm done. So every time I shake, can either display scissors, paper, or rock. So we can test it. I can just come here, maximize. So let me shake it, can press there. So it has displayed scissors, rock, paper, So you can see randomly, you can display any. So we are done with that. We are actually done with that. Works perfectly. Works perfectly. So we come back to our algorithm that is going to guide us. So we're already done with these if conditional statements, so we cross them out. Now we come to a very important aspect of the program. This is on received number. Now let me just go back to the workspace just to explain something. Now this code is going to this code is for this single microbit, you know. So once you shake this microbit, then this code executes. But now what we want to do is that we want to introduce a second microbit, so that two microbits are going to play against each other. Now for two microbits to play against each other, then these two microbits have to communicate, and this is where we use what we call the radio signal, the radio. So it uses radio, so two microbits can communicate to each other using the radio. So here we're going to use the radio function to enable the two microbits to be able to communicate. So so first of all, let me just drag this somewhere here down. And for us to do that, you have to set a radio channel for them to communicate. So first of all, you start and set the radio group to 1. You click there forever. Actually make sure it's at the forever loop. So what you've done is that you've actually been able to create a channel that these two microbits are going to communicate, and that is group 1. After doing that, you'll want also to come and select on radio received number. So this is a variable. This is an inbuilt variable. So it's called received number. So what you are receiving is a number, it's not a string. So if you are receiving, let's say, letters or a word, then we could have used this, but what you are receiving is a number. Remember that we selected 0, 1 and 2. So these are the numbers that we want to receive. But here when we look at our code here in the microbit, on the microbit, sorry, you'll realize that it is we have to send the number so that it can be received at this end. So we'll come here and so you have to send the number, radio send. So when 0 is selected, you also want to send this number. Okay, so you can duplicate. So when 1 is connected, when one is selected, just send 1. So you can duplicate again, and then here you send 2. Okay, so that's all. Okay, so I'm gonna take this here. I'll just minimize. I know you won't be able to see what I'm doing, but I'm just minimizing so that I can grab this, put it here forever. Now you'll realize the on start, I'm also going to grab it and put it down here. So you can always minimize and maximize while you're working with your code, so that you can be able to see what you're doing. So before I come and start programming my second microbit, I'm gonna I want every time the microbit starts, I want it to show a string, a message, shake to play. So what I'm doing is just I'm giving it some user experience, shake to play. I want someone to be able to know how to play the game. So this is just an instruction that the user will receive once the microbit is on. And because playing games, when you're playing games, you also have to, it's good you have scores, because scores motivate people to play games. So if you're playing a game, you'll want to keep tabs of your scores. So I definitely come at advanced, come at game, and I'm going to set my score to 0. So I've already set my score to 0. So once the game starts, it's going to set the score to 0. So once that is done, I now come to on radio received. So I hope you're with me. So I go back to my algorithm, and I'll have 3 conditions. So I can either I can either draw the game. There can be a draw for the game. There can also be a win for the game. One microbit, either one of the microbit can win, or you can also have a condition for a loss. You know, it's very important for you to have these conditions in any game, whereby an opponent can either draw, can win, and can lose. So we're going to write the code for draw. So still here we're going to use an if condition for a draw. So if the received number is equals to player 1 choice, then we should the microbit should show a string draw. So if the received number, so you're going to use the if condition. So I'm just going to collapse this. So if I'm gonna use this, then I'm going to use comparison operators. So if the received number, now you'll realize that this inbuilt variable, you won't be able to find it here here in your tools. So what you'd normally do, you just click on it, grab it, and place it there. Yeah, so that's the quickest way for you to do it. So you just click here, grab it, and you place it there. So if received number is equals to player 1. Now one thing I want you to understand is that the received number and the player 1, the received number is the received signal that you receive from the other microbit, and the player 1 choice is this first microbit. So you have two variables. So the received number, and we also have the player 1 choice. So you're comparing against each other. So if the received number, let's say it's 0 and player 1 choice is 0, then you'll basically have a draw. So you'll indicate it's a draw. So draw. Else you can have a win or a loss. So let's explore the conditions for win. So draw, we've already finished with draw. Now let's explore the conditions for win. So we have 2 conditions for win. For the microbit, for either of the microbit to win. So the first condition is if the received number is less than player 1 choice, then definitely player 1 choice will have won. Okay, so and another condition is that if the received number is equals to 2 and player 1 choice is equals to 0, then it means that the other microbit, the second microbit, will have won. And you'll also want to change the score by 1 and show the number score. So let's jump into this straight away. So if the received number, I'm just going to use logic, if received, and then I'm gonna use so let me just come back and confirm. Yeah, if the received number is less than, so I'm gonna use this comparison and I'm gonna change the operator to less than. So if the received number, okay, so I have to come here, first of all, drag this, place it there. So if the received number is less than player 1 choice, so this other variable, I place it there, then you're going to show string. Now before you show string, the winning, sorry, before you show the winning message, you also have to take into consideration the second option. So you're going to nest in the second option before you indicate a win, just to avoid a lot of if statements. So if received number is equals to 2, so we are just shortening the code, and player 1 is equals to 0. So in this statement, as you can see, you have two conditions. You have this condition and you have this condition. So you're going to use a Boolean expression, the Boolean expression of AND. So if received number, so I'm gonna use if again, logic, gonna come here, and then I'm going to use Boolean. So if received number, so in each I'm gonna use comparison. So I'm gonna use comparison. Make sure you select the right box, and also I'm gonna use comparison in the other box. So if the received number, is it the received number? Let me just check. Is equals to 2. Yes, I guess it's the received. Yeah, received number is equals to 2. So I'm gonna grab this here, place it there, change this to 2. That's all. And then I'm gonna change this to player 1 choice. So you'll notice that you won't have a good space, so you can minimize, you can zoom out, sorry, you can zoom out so that you can be able to see your workspace. So player 1 is equals to 0. So once you do this, let me just zoom in a bit so that you guys can be able to see what I'm doing. So once you have these two conditions, this is option 1, option 2, all these options, you'll have a win. So all these options you'll be able to they'll show a win on either of the microbits. So win, so just show a win, and then you'll want to change the score. So definitely when someone wins, they change, the score changes by 1. I think that's enough. And then you also want to show the score. Yeah, you want to show the score. So you're gonna come here, so you're gonna say show number, and then you want to show the score. So score is an inbuilt variable that you can find it here. So there you go, score. So you're done with that part now, but you'll realize that in this condition, in this option, you can even have let's say received number can also be 1, and you can still have player choice 1 as 0. Okay, so in that condition, you received number, the other microbit will still have 1, but this other condition is not featured here. So that's why you use else statement. You click on here, and you're just going to repeat the same. So you're gonna repeat the same, So this is just for the other option of win that has not been featured up here. So that's all. I'm sure we've finished with the win. Yeah, we've already finished with the win. So we go to the condition for win. Yes, these are the conditions that I was actually talking about. Apart from you having 2 and 0, the other microbit having a 2 and this other having a 0. You can also have a 2 and a 1, and you can also have a 1 and a 0. So else basically takes care of these other 2 conditions for win. So you basically are able to finish up with the win. So I know sometimes coding might look a bit difficult, especially when you're trying to understand the logic of it, but I just want to encourage you that the more you practice and the more you also you become better at writing algorithms and breaking down your code into pseudocodes. You have good pseudocodes and algorithms, then you're able to develop, you're able to understand what you're doing. So that's why in every tutorial that I do, I usually have this, so that this can be able to guide us even when you are developing the program. So no worries if this is your first time coming, joining in, just watching this video. I'm sure you're gonna understand these things as we go by. So I've already finished with the option for win. Even this I've finished that. So I normally just love crossing out once I'm done with functionality. So all this I'm done with. So it also encourages me and helps me to track my work. So now I'm left with the condition for loss. So I've already done with draw, won, and loss. Draw and won. So for any condition for loss, so if player 1 choice is 2 and received number is equals to 0, then definitely the second microbit has lost. Okay, or else if player 1 can also have 1 and it can also have 0, so this also looks at the other condition for loss. So we are going to come here. So now you have to be very careful where you want to have your loss statement. So remember that this is a condition. What we have here, this is the condition for draw. Okay, and this else should be able to house the win option and the loss option. So you'll follow this else just at the outer. Okay, this is the outer of the else. So, and you're going to have your if statement in between here. So you're going to come to logic and then if. So you have to be very, very careful. Yes, you have to, it has to come there for the loss. Now this is for the loss option. So if you put it inside here, then you're actually contradicting. You'll actually experience a bug in your program, because all these other statements are for the win option. So you want to come up with a statement for the loss condition. So this is how you do it. So once you do this, just come back, and so if player 1 choice is equals to 2 and received number is equals to 0. So this is a Boolean expression, because we have let me collapse this. So because we have 2 of these expressions, so I'm gonna just come here, have another comparison operator in that box, and also I'm gonna come again, have another comparison operator in the second box. Okay, so if player 1 choice is equals to 2, player 1 choice is equals to 2 and received number, so you have to come here. Okay, so you have to come here. So one way you can do it better is when you minimize it. So I'm going to grab it, place it the first one, and then I'm going to zoom in again. Yeah, so this is a condition for loss. So what are you going, so what you're going to do is you're going to have this if yeah, and else is going to show string loss. So if this is the condition, then you'll want to show string loss. So else any other condition. So any other condition can you can actually find that you can have player 1 you can have player 1 choice to have 1, and then the second microbit can have 0 still. So that can be still be a different condition, and you'll still experience the same result, which is the loss. So loss. So we are still sorry about that, we are still experiencing, or we are still looking at the options of loss. So a player can lose, that is microbit 2. So this the received number is from microbit 2. Player 1 choice is microbit 1. So microbit 2 will lose if player choice 1 is 2, or what we now call else player choice 1 is 1, just as indicated here. Yeah, so that's all. We finished with that. So once we finished, I think now it's the time you just look at the code, and you can see we have 2 microbits already. So you just maybe want to look at your code just to see if everything is okay. I know we've done quite a lot today. Yes, so it sends the number. So I think that everything is okay. So the reason why we've not changed the score when a player loses is because the score remains the same when a player loses. If the player had 2 points, then if he loses the game, he or she loses the game, then they'll still remain with 2 points. So the score doesn't change here. Yeah, so that's all, guys. So let's test our code. So we'll just come here, just gonna minimize. I'm going to refresh so you can see. Let me play now. You can see this is player 1. What has just happened? Okay, let me just refresh again. I don't know why the other microbit has disappeared. I think let me check. Yeah, you can see scissors. Let me check the other microbit. So let's wait. So it's a draw. You can actually see it's a draw. So I can shake this other microbit. A draw still because it's scissors. Can shake, still a draw. Getting draws today. Let's see. This is rock. So the other microbit has lost, okay, because this is rock and this is scissors. So this is rock. So let's shake this other microbit and see. It's a draw. So I can still shake this microbit. Paper. So the other microbit has won. So I can shake this other microbit again. Scissors. So this other microbit has won because it had rock. Oh, sorry, it has lost actually because it was paper. So that's what you do. That's how you can create a simple program using two a program where 2 microbits are able to communicate to each other using the radio signals. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. You can always download your program to your microbit. This is how the microbit looks like. So you can always download your program to the microbit. That is 2 if you have 2 microbits, and you can always test your program. So I know this program is quite lengthy, but if you have any questions concerning our program today, you can just write to me via my email on the description box, or you can just leave your comment, and I'll be glad to assist you. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. I have been your teacher Peter from Tinker Coding Classroom. So I hope to see you some other day, and I think the next time we'll also be looking at other things to do with gaming, to do with robotics. So always remember to subscribe and share this video with your family, friends, any person that you feel like will be able to benefit from what you are doing today. So I'm gonna see you next time. Goodbye.